to what happens next, winemaking part 4. With the Pinot Noir, we're into full punch down now. The wine, the must is at 10 bricks, and I'm going to punch it down. Out of habit, I start on the left side when it's stiff like this because I've worked in bigger fermenters with larger punch down tools where it's hard work. So I start on the left. Oh, this isn't too bad. So I can slice up through. Oh, this is nice. Look at that. I just work my way across. Sometimes it's a lot stiffer than this. Look at that. Nice stuff. Full punch down. We don't need to over punch. We just need to mix it in. Submerge the cap. We've got a few whole clusters in here. They're coming up. We put them in here on purpose. Yeah, got some whole clusters here. You can see this. So the clusters are starting to ferment inside the berries. It's a bacterial fermentation. Carbonic maceration. That'll add some special character to the wine. Now when I'm done, I'll do the same thing as I did. Pack it down really nicely. Reduce the surface area. Put it to bed. First today, I want to talk about two things. One is complex yeast nutrients, and the other will be kinetics, fermentation kinetics. We're probably not going to add any complex yeast nutrients to this wine. We already put Go Ferm in here, and these grapes were only 22.8 bricks, which means they probably have a lot of onboard nutrients in the grapes. The riper the grapes get, the less nutrients they have. But we bought some Fermade O anyway. The main old school winemakers use diammonium phosphate, DAP, which is basically lawn fertilizer. And the university still preaches the use of DAP. There's a lot of DAP in Fermade K and Superfood. And those complex yeast nutrients work. They work fine. But about 5 years ago, I switched over to all organic nutrients. Fermade O was the first product that came out from Lallemand Company. And now there's more products. I've used Nutristar Org, and this year I used WHO, W-H-O, a organic complex yeast nutrient out of California. Now none of these have DAP in it. Diammonium phosphate can cause runaway fermentations that don't finish to dryness. It's sort of like a shot in the arm. It's like junk food for the yeast. To use the analogy of the child again, it's like sending the child off to school and having her go to the convenience store for breakfast. So I've had a lot of good luck with the organic nutrients. They're expensive, but that's what I use. I also want to talk about fermentation kinetics. Right now, this wine is hot, about 86 degrees, and that's really a good peak temperature to shoot for. That's kind of the standard high temperature to shoot for in a fermentation, depending on who you are and where you are. But what I like to see is, when I do it, I chart it on a page. So every day I'll have the temperature of the fermenter, and then every other day the pH and maybe the bricks, so I can watch the bricks go down, the pH go up, but more than anything I want to see the temperature have a nice gradual rise and hit a peak temperature, generally 86 degrees, and then slowly back down. I want to have a nice even kinetic curve. So the the extraction happens naturally and slowly. With this particular fermenter, this fermenter is a double wall dairy vat that's insulated, and so it gets hot. It'll be cold for a long time. The fermentational curve will look like this, maybe 67, 72, and all of a sudden it'll be 86 degrees and 90. And then it'll drop off really slowly. So it'll produce a different tasting wine than the fermenters behind us. So it's a good idea to try to keep your kinetics even, and it's okay if it hits 90 degrees. You just don't want to go much above that. It can kill the yeast and get a stuck fermentation. It's never happened to me, but someone I know it's happened to. So, well, this fermentation is going along nicely, and we're going to punch down the rest of these fermenters, and that's the end of part 4, winemaking, and what happens next. And much of this can be found in my book, Creating World-Class Red Wine. I'm Mark Stanley. Thanks for showing up.
Where can I get the book?
Amazon.